Have you ever felt like your own brain was working against you? Well, today we're going to explore a really remarkable story. Not one of damage, but of survival. And we'll get into the profound science-backed potential that every single one of us has to heal.
After going through something really difficult or traumatic, it's so common to carry this question around, this feeling deep down that something inside is just fundamentally broken. But what if we could just flip that question on its head? What if we could move away from that place of self-blame, that feeling of pathology, and shift toward a place of genuine, deep understanding for what our bodies and brains have been through? So let's start right there, with your brain's survival story. We're going to reframe what we so often call symptoms. Because what if those responses, what if they aren't signs that we're broken at all? But instead, they're brilliant adaptations our brains made to help us survive. That's right. Evolutionary science gives us this incredibly powerful way of looking at it. It suggests that suffering isn't necessarily a malfunction. It might actually be the cost of a brain doing exactly what it evolved to do, which is to keep you alive no matter what. And to really get this, we can look at a fascinating concept from evolutionary biology. It's called life history theory. Basically, it explains how all living things, including us, adjust our core strategies for survival based on the kind of world we grow up in. So think of it like this. Our brains develop different kinds of survival toolkits. If the world feels safe and predictable, the brain goes for what's called a slow strategy. Investing in long-term goals, planning for the future. But if the world feels harsh and dangerous, it shifts gears to a fast strategy. And that means prioritizing immediate survival, short-term gains, and even risk-taking. And this is the absolute key point. What might look like impulsivity or anxiety or being on high alert all the time, on the surface, it's actually a highly intelligent adaptation. It's that fast strategy your brain adopted to navigate a world that felt dangerous. Your brain isn't broken. It's a survivor, a brilliant one at that. So, how in the world does the brain actually pull this off? Let's take a look under the hood at the biological process that makes this incredible adaptation possible.
Okay, the engine driving all of this is something called neuroplasticity. And this is your brain's amazing lifelong ability to physically change, to literally rewire itself based on what you experience, what you think, and what you feel. It's incredible.
I mean, it's such a powerful idea, right? The researcher Martin Teicher put it perfectly. He said our genes, they provide the initial blueprint for our brains, but it's our life experiences that do the actual sculpting, shaping the very structure of who we are. And this sculpting isn't just some vague idea. It happens through several really powerful biological processes. Our experiences can literally switch our genes on or off. They can spark the birth of brand new brain cells, they can strengthen the connections between them, and they can even insulate the pathways we use most often to make them faster and more automatic. Our life story gets written directly into our biology. All right, so let's dig into that a little more. How does this process of sculpting actually build our inner world, moment by moment? The neuroscientist Carla Schatz summed it up with this now famous phrase. The best way to think about it is like making a path in a forest. The very first time you walk it, it's tough, right? You're pushing through branches. But the more you use that same path, the clearer and easier it gets. Well, the brain works the exact same way. And we see this in action literally everywhere. Studies show that London taxi drivers who have to memorize thousands of streets, they actually grow the part of their brain responsible for spatial memory. Same thing happens for musicians, or even for people who just learn to juggle for a few weeks. Every repeated experience physically builds the brain. Okay, so let's bring this back to trauma. When you experience a threat, your brain lights up these survival circuits, fight, flight, freeze. If those circuits get lit up over and over again, those pathways become deep, efficient superhighways. This is exactly why a seemingly small trigger can sometimes cause an instant, overwhelming reaction. Your brain is just taking the path it knows best, the one that was built to keep you safe. Now, this is where the story gets really, really hopeful. The biology of hope. Because here's the amazing part. The very same process that wired us for survival, well, that is also the key to our healing. So think about it. If those old, painful experiences built those survival superhighways, it makes total sense that new, different kinds of experiences can start to build new ones, right?
And as the trauma expert Judith Lewis Herman says, this so often happens in safe, supportive relationships. They can begin to teach our nervous system a whole new way of being in the world. And this is a pivotal, mind-blowing insight. Healing practices, like therapy, they aren't just about talking. The Nobel laureate Eric Kandel pointed out that they are, in fact, biological interventions. They are active experiences that give the brain new information, allowing it to start forging new pathways of safety, of trust, and connection. And that right there, that is the biology of hope. The very same neuroplasticity that embedded the pain of the past also gives us the power to build a different future. Your brain's capacity to change isn't a flaw. It is its greatest strength. Its ability to adapt is its ability to heal. So the real question becomes, what new experiences will you offer your brain? Healing isn't about trying to erase what happened. It's about intentionally creating new experiences, little moments of safety, of connection, of joy, of peace, that allow your brain to learn that the world can be different now. It's about consciously choosing to walk those new paths again and again until they become the ones your brain travels by default. The power to change is and always has been right inside you.